Hey Yoke.
Digital nomads? Who are they? Digital nomads are a type of people who use telecommunication technologies to earn a living and conduct their life in nomadic manner. Digital nomads often work remotely from foreign countries. Coffee shops, public libraries, co-working spaces, or RVs and campers. This is often accomplished through the use of devices that have wireless internet capabilities, such as smartphones, tablets, or laptops. Successful digital nomads typically have location independence, financial freedom, and satisfying lifestyle. The digital nomad community has various events established to host their members, such as Nomad Cruise. Why people usually become digital nomads? Reduced amount of full-time employment, political unrest, high cost of living in their own country, strong desire to travel, and choice of more suitable climates. The term digital nomad for the first time was mentioned in 1997. It was the name of the book written by Tugio Makimoto and David Manners. Digital nomads can use wireless internet, smartphones, voice-over IPs, and cloud-based applications to work remotely where they live or travel. Digital nomads may use co-working spaces, cafes, house-sitting apartments, and shared offices. The foundation of digital nomad movement is remote work, allowing people to do their work at home or on internet. Digital nomads may also sell several possessions to travel easier, and may also sell or rent their house. Digital nomads tend to travel while they continue to work with their clients or employers. They can be self-employed, freelancers, or being employed by the companies or individuals. Check our next video with extensive list of jobs for digital nomads. This sort of lifestyle may present challenges, such as maintaining international health insurance with coverage globally, abiding by different local laws, sometimes obtaining work visas, and maintaining long-distance relationships with friends and family back home. Other challenges may also include time zone differences, the difficulty of finding a reliable connection to the internet, and the absence of balance between work and the leisure time. An important step in being a digital nomad is ensuring that all relevant documentation, such as visas and passports, is kept up to date. If you don't, you could have legal difficulties when traveling abroad. A lack of languages of the countries you're visiting can prevent you from engaging with locals. It also creates the risk of misunderstanding if you have to go to hospital. Services such as PayPal are popular among digital nomads. Skype is also a common tool for long-distance communications. It is perfect for voice, text, video chats, and sending files across the globe. YouTube has become hugely popular with digital nomads as a source of income without having a central workplace or living space. The digital nomad lifestyle is rapidly growing in popularity. Many websites rank cities by cost of living, weather, and internet speed to help nomads choose where to live. International conferences for digital nomads also take place, such as DNX. The digital nomad movement has become a viable way to work, especially in technology companies in Silicon Valley. Digital nomad began to be popular with well-known brand names. National Geographic, for example, started the Digital Nomad blog. Dell Computers launched a website called Digital Nomads. A documentary film about the digital nomad lifestyle by Christine Andrew Gilbert called The Wireless Generation earned $37,000 in funding through a Kickstarter. A cruise called the Nomad Cruise was funded to offer a means by which digital nomads could meet and interact. Virtually anyone can attempt to live the digital nomad life, though certain groups are more intended. These groups include younger people, entrepreneurs, refugees, nomads overall, and more. Certain destinations are among the more popular for digital nomads, including Chiang Mai in Thailand, Colombia, Mexico, and Bali, due to a low cost of living and a reasonably high quality of life. For example, the town of Ubud in Bali became popular among digital nomads after the installation of fiber optic broadband. Other cities include Tallinn, Tarifa, and Tbilisi are also popular due to critical mass and greater acceptance of the digital nomad lifestyle, as well as relatively lower cost of living. Cities that have higher cost of living also exist for digital nomads, including Singapore, Oslo, and Tokyo. Check our next video about the most popular destinations for digital nomads. Van dwelling is a recent movement related to digital nomads and its rising popularity. It allows them to live as digital nomads in the areas with limited facilities. In the United Kingdom, certain cities such as Bristol, Birmingham, and Brighton are popular. This is due to the lower cost of living compared to London. Organizations such as Innovation Birmingham Campus exist to accommodate 90 technology companies. The digital nomad lifestyle became significantly more popular in recent years due to several factors. Internet connectivity became more available and affordable, even in rural areas. Jobs becoming less location dependent, such as graphic designers, writers, and more. Many digital nomads tend to come from more developed nations with passports. As a result, many tend to travel on a tourist visa. It is technically illegal for anyone to work on a tourist visa. However, digital nomads tend to ignore this rule because it is virtually impossible to prove this. In most countries, as long as the nomad is respectful and is not taking a job away from a local person, the authorities will turn a blind eye to nomad work. Visa runs are also common in digital nomad community. Some nomads have also attempted to legalize their stay by taking up a part-time jobs in teaching English, as well as taking university courses in their host country. Also, digital nomads are often using their status as permanent travelers to escape the tax liabilities in their home countries, without, however, immigrating to the tax system of another country. This has resulted in the creation of several programs targeted digital nomads, such as e-Residency in Estonia and Smart Visa program in Thailand. Estonia has also announced plans for digital nomad visa, following its growing e-Residency applications. Are you a digital nomad? Let me know in a comment down below if I missed something.